Okay guys, so here I am. I was born on Friday, September the 12th at 1:47 p.m. on a Friday in a small town in Tennessee. And that is me, the youngest of two siblings. So when I was a little girl, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I would go to my grandparents' house. So Monday was my granny and my granddaddy's day. Wednesday was my grandma's day. And Friday was my papa and my nanny's day. And I did this like literally my whole childhood until up past about probably first grade. But I continued staying at my grandmother's house all through like my life until I was 16. Until I actually started staying at home on my own. So basically next, I started kindergarten, which was a huge thing for me, but I had a lot of issues because my teacher was actually really old and mean. She would just scream and yell all the time, and it frightened me. So I had a lot of issues with going to school when I was little. So a lot of screaming and crying and just bad things because I was so scared. So after kindergarten, I went on my very first big vacation, and that was to Disney World in Orlando, Florida with my mom, my dad, and my sister. It was literally so much fun. I haven't been back since, but I want to. So, yeah. The next thing was when I was in second grade. I had literally always wanted a horse, and for my 8th birthday, my granddaddy got me a horse named Pepper. And he is an Appaloosa pony, but he's literally as big as a horse. And I was literally so excited. But on the first day I got him, I very much, unfortunately, fell off of him because I was riding him bareback without a saddle. So I slipped off and fell and hurt myself pretty bad. I didn't know where I was, and I lost all my memory, which kind of is what me and my mom think may be some of my health problems now. Or maybe the cause of some of my health problems now. So in 3rd grade was when I had my first real true best friend, and her name was Brooklyn. And she meant a lot to me, and she was the first person to spend the night at my house, and we had so much fun. But unfortunately, around 5th grade, she moved, and we eventually stopped talking, but we are still very much on good terms. I still love her because she was a great best friend. So in 5th grade, I literally made tons of friends, and I was, as you could say, I guess popular, which is not bragging literally. I just had tons of friends, and it was literally one of the best years of my whole entire school career. So after 5th grade, it was literally, so the end of my 5th grade year, I had my very first sleepover, or I should say I went to my very first sleepover, which was at my best friend at the time's house for her birthday, and it was with a whole bunch of girls, and it was the funnest thing ever. I don't know why, but of course I have a whole lot of anxiety in my life, so I was nervous to spend the night with someone up until then. But anyway, this is a huge milestone. I started middle school, and literally was awesome. So this was when my school, which mascots are the bees, and then the frogs, which I know, that looks pathetic. But anyway, the middle schools on my side of town, like, basically joined together, and I met so many new people, and it was, like, literally the coolest thing ever, because I was dreading it, and then when I got there, it was amazing. And basically, that started, like, the end of a great year, because in 7th grade, I unfortunately got bullied really, really bad by my group of friends that I had had for quite a few years, because they all decided to be cheerleaders and go on a path that I didn't want, so they decided to bully me, and it was miserable. I literally only got through by watching Elvis Presley movies with my mom because I loved Elvis. And then actually at the end of 7th grade, I also went from brown-headed to blonde. So that was pretty cool, and I've been blonde ever since. So after middle school, I started high school, and here's where things get tricky. So this was my 9th grade year, and I was so excited, but whereas I was excited, my body basically said, Anna, you're not excited, you're nervous as hell. And this is where I had a whole lot of anxiety, and I had bad anxiety attacks. I lost tons of weight and had a little bit of the start of an eating disorder, and this went on for a whole year. and I was on tons of medicines and could not gain weight back, and it was a really upsetting time. But at the end of my freshman year, I found the love of pageants, and I was in a couple, and I placed in all of them and won my very last one that I was in. I think I was in a total of 3. It was a short-lived pageant experience, but pageants were still fun. I was also really proud of myself because pageants really helped me overcome a lot of my anxiety issues. So basically, I got 10th grade homecoming, attended my 10th grade year, of course, which is like homecoming queen, except for only seniors could be queen. So I got to be the homecoming attendant at the football game, and it was just absolutely a huge accomplishment. And after that, I signed up to help out with the wrestling team because my mom thought it would be a good idea for me to meet new people, and I didn't know it yet, but at this time, I met my future fiance, which, by the way, I tried to draw people wrestling, but it looked like they were dancing. But of course, I didn't know it yet. But I had met my now fiance because he was a wrestler, and yeah, we were really close, but unfortunately, we stopped talking due to I wasn't ready for a relationship and just some things that kind of went on. We were immature, so we stopped talking for about a year. But around that same time, I had met this boy who just persisted on going out with me, and I agreed. And then this is where my terrible abusive relationship happened, where I was literally just brainwashed, and he was evil to me, and that caused a lot of damage to my emotional and physical well-being. So therefore, I became sick again and lost a lot of weight again and had major mental issues from the craziness that he put me through. And so basically, I went to the doctors and got diagnosed, which basically I didn't kind of leave enough room here, so it takes a second, but I got diagnosed as being clinically depressed because, a lot of bad things happened with this guy, and I know I haven't really touched much about this on my channel, at least not now, but anyway, this is when I started getting put on antidepressants to help me. So 11th grade comes along, and I'm literally hating high school, but then I ask Bryce back, or to prom, which is the guy, who's now my fiance, but this was the first time I had talked to him in a while. I asked him to prom. He said okay, but was a little bit hesitant just because of how we left things off. But he came over to my house one day on March the 8th, and it was amazing. Literally, we were both like, wow, where have you been all my life? So it was amazing, and since then, which of course we went to prom together, we were absolutely, or have been absolutely inseparable ever since 11th grade. All thanks to me asking him to prom because I knew that he was the one, So anyway, bring on summer after 11th grade. I go on my very first cruise. It was amazing, except for I had to go away without my boyfriend Bryce, because of course he was my boyfriend at the time, and I couldn't talk to him, and it was terrible. But I got to go to Mexico, Honduras, and Belize, and oh my gosh, it was just so amazing visiting 3 different countries. So 2 places in Mexico, the Honduras, and Belize, and I have to touch more about this on my channel. So bring on senior year, which was my last year of high school, thank God, because I hated high school. I really hated high school. So, as you can see, I said thank God here. So it was my senior year. I only had about a couple of tight-knit friends, and it kind of sucked, but hey, graduation came in May of 2016 on the 20th, and I graduated, and oh my lord, it was just great. So I went ahead and graduated, and this brought on summer, and I was so excited to go to college. I just knew it would be great, but unfortunately, this summer is when all of my sickness started. And I know I haven't touched much on this on my channel either, but I definitely want to talk about it sometimes. It's an emotional wreck to me. So I started hurting really bad in my, I guess, female area. I'm not going to get too much in depth, but I started having a lot of pain. And I went to the doctors, and I hadn't even went to the gynecologist much at this point, and I got really, really exposed. So the doctor didn't know after countless trips of weeks at the gynecologist. Week after week I went. No one knew. Then I was just getting sicker all over, and I went to the hospital for the first time in my life, and they had told me that I had mono, aka the kissing disease, but I had no idea how I had it because my boyfriend did not have it. And it was the worst sickness I'd ever felt, along with my lady issues. And on top of that, I was supposed to be going on another cruise, which was my vacation or my graduation present. And the doctor said it would be a good change of scenery, so I went anyway, and my boyfriend made sure I had the best time of my life, and I literally felt so much better on that trip, although I did kind of crash after I got home, which unfortunately the summer ended, and my boyfriend has to go back to UT, which is where he goes to college, and so therefore we have been doing a longer distance relationship for almost 3 years now. And this is about 3 hours away from where I live, but he does come home on the weekends to see me. But hey, I got to start college, and this was my first year of college, and I went, or am going, to be a teacher, and oh my gosh, it was awesome to take education classes. But then, bring April 20th, 2017, the worst day of my whole entire life. My grandma passed away, and I'm literally going to try not to cry, but she's one of the most amazing people in my life, and I just cannot give her enough recognition for how much she took care of me and provided for me and loved me. I was at her house more than my own growing up due to my parents working, and I still can't get over how terrible it is. Like, it haunts me every day, although I do know she's in a better place. But fast forward to this summer, I just started to get really sick again, and throughout this past year, I had gotten sicker and sicker with more doctors, found out I had mono again this summer, but I also been to more doctors with neurological problems. I think I have something wrong with my nerves, I'm not for sure, and that ties in back to the horse ordeal when I fell off. But go on to July 21st of this summer is when it was basically the best day of my life. It is when my boyfriend Bryce proposed to me and became my fiance, and he proposed to me at the Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee. And of course I said yes, but wow, it was just amazing, and I have the ring of my dreams. And yeah, so that is the perfect ending to the terrible summer and really past year I had had. But now is the sophomore year of college, and basically I started on August 28th, and I have a great schedule, so yay for mostly online classes at home. And yeah, so I basically just started back school, and now when I made this video, it is September the 10th, but circle September the 12th because literally it is 2 days until my birthday, and I will be 20 years old, which is just amazing. Literally, I've been waiting for this birthday. It is such a milestone. So I'm really happy, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So please like and subscribe if you did, and click to watch another one of my videos. Bye, you guys.